Thank you for tuning in to the Teacher Dudes. Whether you're listening as a podcast or joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, this is a podcast created by teachers for teachers that's full of some random thoughts, ed tech, tips, and tricks, and a general focus on education today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as your hosts Tyler Keefe and Jeff Anderson take it away. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Keefe.
How you doing on this fine Saturday evening on a good old Saturday ratter day, as my friend Joe says?
I'm keeping warm. I was outside earlier. The sun was out. It was nice. And then the sun went down and, man, it got cold quick.
Dude, it was a bitter cold, too. I just ran out to my truck to get my hat, and I was like, oh, man, it's cold out here.
Yeah.
Inside. And let's take a second to introduce ourselves. I am Tyler Keefe. I am a technology integration coach over in Nampa, Idaho, teaching for my 15th year overall. You can find me on Twitter at Keefe67. And this is the Teacher Dudes episode 6, and we're titling it The Switch. And Jeff, who are you? Even though I know who you are.
I am Jeff Anderson, and I am a PE and health teacher in Meridian, Idaho. That's about it.
That's about it. Now, how long have you been teaching again, Jeff?
I've been teaching for 12 years, taught PE and health for the past 3.
And all at the same school, is that correct?
No, 1 year at a different school.
Oh, that's right. Was that your first year?
That was my first year.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I've bounced around a little bit, which is how we got to know each other. But that's how we roll. It's how we roll. So Jeff, last week we talked about watching some movies. Did you get any movies in this week?
I haven't watched it yet. I had somebody bring me a movie called John Adams, which is about President Adams. I haven't got a chance to watch that yet. I'm kind of curious about that one.
Is that the one from HBO?
I think so.
That was excellent. If we're thinking the right one, it was an excellent miniseries. So it's not just a movie, but a miniseries. And okay. I really liked how they showcased it all. It wasn't, all peachy keen and the founders were these great, fantastic, moral people. It was boom. Here's what it was. So it's kind of a cool thing, and they did a really good job. I think it won quite a few Emmys or Oscars, whatever category it fell into. So you'll enjoy it.
Okay. I just watched. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. What else did you watch?
I just watched last night. I watched a Jason Statham movie called War with Jet Li.
No, I don't think I've heard of that one.
I like Statham. I like the Transporter and what's the one with Sylvester Stallone and all them. The
Expendables or something.
Yeah, the Expendables. Yeah. So I watched that one. The ending was not what I expected. So, but it was good.
Don't give it away.
No, I won't give it away. It didn't have as much.
No spoilers.
It didn't have as much action as I was hoping. It seemed to want to try and tell a little bit more of a story and a little less action. And sometimes it's just those plain out action movies like the Expendables are just fun to watch. Oh
yeah, kind of like the Die Hard series.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been going through the Die Hards, and over Christmas break, of course, I got to watch Die Hard 1 because it's one of the best Christmas movies out there. And then I started with going Die Hard 2, which is I can't remember what that was. It might have just been called Die Hard 2, but then there was Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then was it Live Free or Die Hard, the one where they're in DC on July 4th? And I just started watching A Good Day to Die Hard, or whatever the most recent one was. Just started watching that this afternoon before I got pulled away. So I'm going to have to get back to that after we get done with this. Do you like the Die Hard movies?
I haven't watched that one.
Okay. It's
I do. Yeah, they're fun. They're just
they are.
blatant action the whole time.
Yeah.
Nothing that you'd hear a critic say, give high reviews on. I remember years ago when True Lies
Oh
came
yes,
out.
True Lies.
You remember True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
And Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I remember when that came out, and yep, yeah, and what were the two critics that were always Robert Ebert and
Oh, Siskel and Ebert.
I can't remember Siskel and Ebert, yeah, and they reviewed it and they gave two horrible reviews. I'm like, you know what? It's just a fun movie. It's all it's meant to be. It's just fun, just stupid action the whole time.
Oh yeah. No, sometimes those are the best. Have you seen the like Olympus Has Fallen and Angel Has Fallen and London Has Fallen, those three?
Never heard of those.
Oh, there's some good ones to check out because those are ones that are just the stupid fun, that way over the top. Like, give me a break, and then you catch yourself watching it, and at the end you're like, okay, that was fun. I'm good with that.
All right, I'll have to look for those.
Yeah, they're good. They are good. So anyway, Jeff, we mentioned at the beginning a little thing called Saturday Ratter Day, which I know I've said before, but I don't think I've explained to you what that really is.
I have no idea what it means.
So my buddy Joe Marquez, he's out of outside of Fresno, California, and I'm gonna put his little his Twitter handle. It's at Joe Marquez 70. He came up with this idea of Saturday Ratter Day, and every Saturday he'll jump on Twitter and he'll get his phone out and he'll record a quick little message or rant, whatever you want to call it, and pose some questions. And so today he was talking about what is the true definition of hybrid. We're in the middle of hybrid learning, so we talked about the difference between hybrid. Does that really mean you have some people in the classroom, some people at home, but are they doing the same thing? So is it like a hybrid synchronous, or is it like a hybrid differentiated? Like all these different things. It was really good. I'm gonna have to send you the link on that.
All right.
And so he just started this, Saturday Ratter Day thing, and every Saturday, just like we say, he goes, "How are you going to make your day ratter?" And a few other things that he's been involved with and kind of started. The other hashtag that I put up here is this hashtag FitEDU. It's a Facebook group that was started with him, a guy named Kyle Anderson, probably no relation to you. Although if you do know Kyle Anderson, then that'd be a real small world. He lives down in Vegas. But something tells me Anderson is a pretty common last name.
It is very common. Yeah.
So they started a group on Facebook called FitEDU, where it's just all about fitness and health and all that stuff. Tonight he actually went live and gave a virtual demonstration on making some instant pot spaghetti, and it was kind of fun. He had 3 different cameras set up and was doing that, so that was kind of cool. It's kind of a fun little nerd out thing. And along with that, he did these other 2, which is the hashtag the EdTech Army and hashtag Sons of Technology, and those they go hand in hand with each other. And it's the group Sons of Technology, the podcast that they have. They also have a Facebook page and Twitter as well. But it's all about just helping teachers and, all in the ed tech realm, getting ahead of myself. So, hopefully we can get Joe on the show here in the next few weeks. And Joe, if you're listening, reach out and we'll get you plugged in, because that would be a blast to get you on here. And as I'm sitting here, Roland, a friend from up, although he's kind of south of me, where he's at in Canada, which is kind of crazy to think about. But he just sent me a tweet saying, at Joe Marquez, and his hashtag creations are a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching the Instant Pot Spaghetti video. So it was a good one. You'll have to check those out, Jeff. I'll send you the links when we're done.
Wait a minute. You said that he's in Canada, but he's south of us?
Yeah, you know where he's at in Canada, because I jumped on. I was talking to him a few weeks ago. It's like Kitchener, I want to say, and it's actually further south than we're at here in Idaho, just by a hair. It's that weird spot where oh man, where I'm trying near Buffalo, New York, and Detroit in that area, where
Okay.
it's like we're just a little more north, and he's a little south. So, it's those weird geographical things.
Right. I'll have to look at that. So I was trying to picture that and I couldn't picture that.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have to get a map out to show you at some point. And then another friend, right here, Doug. I'm going to mess up his last name, so I'm not even going to try. But he's saying, "Hola, Tyler. Glad to see you guys crushing it." And he is down in Florida, I think. So we're hitting like 3 different spots on the globe right now. So that's kind of fun.
Ah, I bet you he's a little warmer than we are.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And Roland said he's in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. So we'll have to check that out.
Okay.
But with that, any
So he's over by
partying or no, go ahead.
He's over by the Great Lakes then, over there on the east side of the Great
I
Lakes.
believe
Then.
so.
I'm trying to picture that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, anything on your mind before we get to game time with Zane?
Nope. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to Game Time with Zane. Are you ready? Question 1. What is a weird dish that you secretly love?
All right, Jeff. So what is a weird dish that you secretly love?
Well, I'm not picky, and I think none of them are secret. Is dipping French fries into milkshake.
So the old French fries into a Frosty?
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Okay.
French fries into a Frosty.
So that one there may not be very, very strange, but mine comes from breakfast, and I actually really enjoy putting ketchup on my toast.
Well, I've had ketchup sandwiches before when I was younger and we were camping and we had bread, ketchup, and hot dogs, and we ran out of hot dogs, so we had ketchup sandwiches. But I've never intentionally made toast and put ketchup on it.
Well, let me rephrase that. So basically, I'll make my eggs and bacon and have toast, and then I'll dip the bread in the ketchup
by itself without any egg
with
going
butter.
with it or without any egg going with it or anything like that.
Nope, straight up. That's the first thing I'll eat is the toast and ketchup.
All right. That one's interesting. Never heard that before. Yes.
Well, hey, that's what we do here on Zane's Game Time.
So
you ready
I guess
for question 2?
Well, I will tell you. I'll tell you the one that I've had that I don't eat. I don't eat it anymore, but I used to. I used to do peanut butter mayonnaise sandwiches.
Peanut butter what?
Peanut butter and mayonnaise. Wait. Yeah.
What? No.
And I'd even go further because my parents would always buy Miracle Whip, so it'd be Miracle Whip and peanut butter. But mayonnaise would probably be better. I'm more of a mayonnaise person now than Miracle Whip, but yeah, try it sometime.
I don't know. Okay. You ready for question 2?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Question 2. Can you solve a Rubik's Cube? I know that I can.
So can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
I used to be able to. when Rubik's Cubes came out, I bought one and I spent probably 2 weeks trying to figure it out. And I got to where I could solve a Rubik's Cube in about 5 minutes. Right about there. But now, no, I'd be either taking the stickers off or pulling the thing apart. I actually had a student who had a Rubik's Cube last year, I think it was, and he wasn't able to solve it. And I was like, hey, let's take a look at how you can just get one side solved. And so we pulled up the instructions online to try and follow the instructions of how to get one side solved. And I realized how confusing that was. But I used to be able to.
Zane, I can't do it at all, flat out. And Zane can do it. He's been studying how to do it. And he walks out. He goes, "Hey, Dad, can you mess this up?" So I grab it and I, do the thing and mix it up and I hand it to him. Not, less than 4 or 5 minutes later, boom, done. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, how you doing that?
Yep.
And it's all math.
Has he looked up the speed records for solving a Rubik's Cube?
I don't know if he has, but I'll have to mention that to him. We did watch it was on America's Got Talent a few seasons ago where there was a guy who did magic and did Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah.
And could solve them like super fast.
Yeah, I've seen that on the Penn and Teller's Fool Us too. But they have actual contests for how quickly they can solve Rubik's Cubes, and not just the 3-sided, or not just the ones with 9 cubes on each side, but the larger ones too.
Oh yeah. He's got this weird triangle one. And yeah, it's we'll have to get him on here next time. We might need to challenge him.
Yeah. Put him on a timer and see what he can do.
Yeah. All right, question 3. Here we go.
Question 3. What is your go-to song of all time?
Go-to song of all time.
That's like asking what's your favorite song. Oh my goodness. That's a tough question. I can tell you, if I'm behind the wheel and I got the highway in front of me, I'm putting on Judas Priest, Heading Out to the Highway.
Judas Priest, Heading Out to the Highway?
Yep.
I'm sure I've heard the song a few times. I'm just trying to think. Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. My go-to. Oh man. I'm gonna have to say, if it's just something I just need to rock out to, it's gonna be Sandman by Metallica.
Okay.
Just that song there, just once that bass line just starts and just starts getting and it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out, but it got overplayed, and I discovered a song that I think is way better than that on that album, on the Black Album, "Sad But True."
Oh yes, pretty much every song on the Black Album's a go-to song. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And so the Sandman. I mean, just as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm like, okay, let's go. But that I'll just get crazy. But all right, you ready for number 4?
Yeah.
Question 4. If you could only listen to one band for the rest of time, who would it be?
So one band for the rest of the time, who would it be?
I have such an eclectic list of songs, of music that I like. I mean, I'll listen to Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Scorpions, Van Halen all day long. But I think if I had to pick one band, I'm not going with rock and roll. I'm going with Mercy Me.
They are a great band. Great message too from Mercy Me.
Well, some of that music is some of that music is more emotional and slow, but then you get songs like Shake and the Happy Dance, and oh yeah, you just got to get up and move.
Yeah, no, we saw him in person last oh man.
That was when I ran into you, when my daughter and her friend and I ran into you at the
Yeah,
concert.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. I was thinking that was at Winterfest or something, but yeah, that was at Mercy Me.
Yeah. That was the Rock and Worship Roadshow, I think is what it was.
Yes, that's right. And yeah, no, it was fantastic. And have you seen the movie I Can Only Imagine?
Oh yeah, I own it. I've probably seen it half a dozen times.
Yeah, no, that one's fantastic. So yeah, we're there. My one band, I mean, right now I would have to say it's actually Elevation Worship, just because they have a lot of great stuff going on. But of all time, rest of the time, you know, that's just too tough because there's too many. Like if I could make a one playlist for the rest of the time, then we're good. But I don't know about just one band.
Yeah, it's just what you're
tough.
feeling right now. It is. Your favorite
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
don't have one. Your favorite song, oh my goodness. But what am I liking right now at this particular moment in
Right.
time, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely all about what you're feeling in the moment. So
Yeah.
you know, and what you need too.
Yeah.
And you know, 'cause there are times that you need that pump up song, and you need to, okay, let's go, and then you need that, okay, I just need to chill. I don't want to get amped up.
I have been chilling. I have discovered that for the first time ever, really, I'm liking some Rod Stewart songs.
Oh, that kind of catches me off guard there.
Yeah, his voice is just I don't know. His voice is just cool sounding. I can't think of any of the names of the songs I've been listening to, but yeah, I never really gave his music any notice until the last maybe year.
What about Phil Collins?
I have never really been a Phil Collins fan.
You ever watch the movie Tarzan? The old Disney animated one?
Yeah.
You know, he wrote all those songs.
I think I might have known that.
Yeah.
The guy is talented as anything. I mean, playing the drums, the guitar, I think he can play the piano. He sings. He is talented as anything. His music never really did much for me.
Oh man. I remember one story about Phil Collins, and we'll get on to our main topic here. I was at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, and it was my junior year. So it was the summer going into my junior year of high school. And we were down there for a band thing. And I remember the whole band, you know, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe down there, and we're just sitting there waiting for our food. And, you know, you can hear or In the Air Tonight comes on. Mm-hmm. And so it's on the TVs. It's kind of like Buffalo Wild Wings, but it's all about rock and, you know, music videos. They have them all around the place. And so I'm watching the music video of them playing it live, and I hadn't seen it before, but I'm just sitting there watching. And then I just see him just, you know, jump on the drums and just go to town as he's singing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like, I don't know why I still go back to that moment of just seeing it, but it just like took me back. I was like, holy crap. Like this dude's got it going on.
Yeah. He's a talented guy.
Yeah. No, he definitely is. Well, like our title here says, it's episode 6, The Switch. And, you know, so let's switch topics here and go to that. And, you know, Jeff, earlier today, you called me twice because you call and it's like, hello, tech support, need some help. And, you know, your tab is pretty long. But that's okay, because, you know, friends help friends out and all that stuff. But you recently got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas for you and your daughter Liz,
Yep.
and you guys have been enjoying it, right?
Well, today was actually the first day that the Switch got turned on the TV.
And how'd that go? Because that was a reason why you called.
I think it went fine. They were playing Mario Kart. No, yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah. So I think it went fine. I don't know. It was. Oh, I'm getting a thumbs up from my daughter that it went fine.
Good.
I wasn't in
good.
there when they were playing.
Gotcha. So kind of walk me through that, because that whole experience that you went through was kind of the basis of me wanting to title this The Switch. And it has parallels for education. Is, you got this new device, you want to use it. Yes, the Switch you're going to use for home and entertainment and that kind of stuff. But in education, it's different. Although I do have 5 Switches in the swamp at my school that I got for educational reasons, using the Nintendo Labo kits, and that's something that we can talk about later. But that process that you went through of, okay, I got this cool new device, now what? So kind of walk me through that, and how that kind of parallels in the education world, if you kind of follow what I'm saying.
Well, I think maybe it could be where, so I got the Switch and it was sitting in this holder that I guess is the charging port. And I didn't really know, I hadn't tried to have it show up on the TV. And I just didn't have the interest to try and get it to do it. So I let it sit there until when my daughter wanted to play it. And so I was like, okay, well, how do we actually get this to show up on the TV? And then we started messing with it to try and figure it out. The only thing I can think of, if this is the direction you're going, is I've seen where teachers will have technology. Like I can remember a few years ago when we had Promethean boards in our rooms, and there were some who really didn't want to use these at all. They were, from when I was finally in a room with one and I started using it, wow, it just kind of added so much of a dimension to what could be done with the students. But some teachers just weren't willing to go there, whether that be because they were afraid of it, they were set in their ways with other ways of teaching, or that sort of thing. And that may have been like with me, we have an Xbox too, and that's what I just use. I just use the Xbox. So I'm like, well, why do I need to go to the Switch? Now I got to try and learn how to use something else, and I'm just going to use what I already know how to use.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was at the school when we got the Promethean boards with you, and I remember when it got installed, I'm like, okay, let's go, all in, 100%, let's go. And then I remember walking by a couple classrooms, and it's like, okay, cool, you got a new projector wall. And I don't even think they took the pen out of the package to use it, and it's like, oh, you get that feeling. And it's one of those things that you just gotta experience, and then you start to see it. But kind of the direction I was going with was, you had the question, you hadn't put it in its dock yet, with the TV, and you weren't sure exactly what to do and how to do that. And then you had to reach out and ask for help, and get the help, and they're like, oh, okay, and I'm good to go. And then you're able to go. And then a few minutes later, I get another phone ring, and you're asking, okay, now it's on the TV, now what? And walking you through the taking the Joy-Cons off of the Switch itself to be able to play with, and get those connected. So it's that process of where I was kind of leaning is you're willing to try the new thing. You want to see the value, but you're also willing to put in the effort and ask for help when you need it. And that's the part right there that I feel a lot of teachers, all over the board will kind of get hung up. They're like, okay, I want to use this, but I don't want to admit that I don't know what I'm doing. And when I get to a stumbling block, so now that you kind of see what I'm saying, what additional thoughts do you have on that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I have any more than what you said.
Did it
Sometimes,
did you have to kind of swallow your pride, or is it just, are you, what, I need help, so I'm going to call. I'm the
no.
person that's like, I'm going to try to figure this out myself before I call.
With that one, no, I was like, I'm just going to call. I'm not even going to mess with this because I know that you have one and you've used one for a long time. So I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm just going to call and figure it out. But I think that also, that kind of reminded me of something a little different than where you're going with it. But when you know that somebody is a lot more knowledgeable on something you're doing, you're less likely to want to spend your brain power to think about it when that person can just get you right through it.
Right.
And you don't have to really try. And that's kind of the way I've looked at with sometimes with students and trying to learn. They know that teacher knows how to do it. So they're going to really try and push to get that teacher just to be able to almost give them the answer, because that's the easy way to be able to get it done and get it right. The hard way is for students to know that there's somebody who's got the information, who's got the knowledge to be able to do it correctly, but still do it on their own without trying to have them give them the answer.
So with that, is there a fine balance of the kids needing to be able to learn and work through and push and grit and all that stuff, and then they just reach that breaking point, okay, I need help? Or are you saying that the kids just kind of, they know that so and so has the answer, so I'm going to go get it from them? Like kind of explain, because I kind of got mixed signals there.
Okay. Well, for some students, they're just going to want to try and get the right answer, and they're going to go to whoever they can to get that right answer, because they don't have to think about it. The other person already knows, so why should I have to think about it? But there are situations where now I just lost my train of thought on that. What was your first question again?
So is it that, are you saying that if a kid knows that the other kid or the teacher has the answer, that they should just go get the answer from them and go? Or are you saying that they should put in the work, try, and then once they reach that breaking point, okay, I need to, swallow my pride and realize that I need to go get help?
Yeah, there's that fine line. I've had students in the past who have been pushed themselves, or I've pushed them just that too far, and they start to just kind of, their learning's done, their thinking is done, just because they've hit that emotional frustration where they're not going to think anymore. But to be able to recognize those lines and be able to notice when that student needs the help because they're getting to that frustration point, and when that student is not there, they're still wanting to figure it out, but they need more information. I don't know. It's sounding kind of confusing to me when I'm trying to explain it.
No, I think it makes sense. I think you're trying to say that in some cases they do need more information. They just need a little push. Mm-hmm. In other cases, they might need to be picked back up. And in some cases, they've got to realize that they've got to figure this out on their own. And then once they've fallen, then, you're going to be there to help, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because our whole purpose is not the right answer. Teachers' purposes are not the right answer. It's teachers' purposes are getting people to think including yourselves, getting people to think and use their brains, instead of just seeking that right answer. That
Yeah.
right answer needs to just kind of go away, because that's not the point. I remember
Well,
telling students that when we be talking about whatever learning we were doing, I'm not looking for the right answer. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for you to show me what you're thinking.
right.
And if the right answer is part of that, great. If you don't have the right answer, but you're still in the thought process, that's fantastic. That's exactly where I want you to be.
Yeah. Now with that, I mean, as you're talking, it's, I sit there and I hear frequently from all over, friends up in Washington, Idaho, Oregon, California. I got, friends wherever. They're like, my kids just aren't getting it. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. They're constantly, they just don't get their work done or whatever. And, hearing you say that, it's not about getting the right answer, but at some point it is about getting the right answer. But you brought up an interesting point. Our job as teachers is not so much to make sure they have the right answers. It's that they can know how to critically think. And that's one thing that I remember
Right.
once it made sense to me. It's like, oh, okay. Now, obviously in math, you're right or wrong. Like, I'm sorry, there is no, it's kind of gray. 2 plus 2 is 4. I don't care how you spin it. 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. And yeah, if you did 2 plus 2 and you got 5, okay, you're kind of there, but you're still wrong. But you can kind of see that understanding come through, kind of a thing.
And that's what's important, because I'm not suggesting that the right answer isn't a valid thing. The right answer is truly a valid thing. But if we're talking about this process of learning for students when they're young and as they get older, the focus is getting them to think, because as we are getting them to think, the right answers will come about. So our focus is not the right answer. Our focus is thinking. The byproduct of thinking will start to become the right answer more and more.
Yes. Yeah. And
So,
it really is, the thing that schools need to address more and more is that thing of how to critically think and how to get to that process, how to figure it out. Because I always use that analogy when I'm teaching math at the very beginning of the year, and how I teach, and I talk to parents about how I do it, because they're always like, oh, Common Core math, I hate Common Core math and it's the devil and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, A, do you really know what Common Core math is? It's just a set of standards. B, we're trying to get your kids to think, and I want you to think about this. And I use this analogy with parents and students. I go, if we are going to meet at, let's say, Jeff, you and I, we're going to go meet at Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to go watch the playoffs tomorrow.
mm-hmm.
And you and I were coming from two completely different places. How we get to Wild Wings is going to be completely different. But the goal is to get to Wild Wings. And did we get there? You bet we did, because we want our wings, we want our beer, and we want to watch some football.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Did we get there? But at the same hand, if you're driving from Star over here to Nampa, and you realize that there's road construction or there's a wreck, and all of a sudden your path is blocked, what are you going to do? You've got to figure out how to get there in that process. And math is the same way. If I tried this way and I didn't get there, I need to regroup and try another way.
Sure.
Until I finally get there.
And a teacher's role too is to be able to notice. I mean, I've seen where there's all sorts of ways to be able to add or subtract or multiply.
Yep.
Right. But there are some ways that are more efficient than others. So using your analogy, well, I could drive to Buffalo Wild Wings and I could go a way that is completely out of the way, but it'll still get me there. And a student could try and do math in a certain way that works, but teachers knowing where that math is going to have to lead to next, that may not be the best approach to get them to understand that concept, because they're going to have to take that math into this next thing, and that's going to start to become kind of challenging. So to kind of guide students into some more efficient strategies, just like I might be told, hey, you know what, you don't have to go this way. You could go down these roads and it'd be much quicker for you, and you're still going to get to the same spot.
Yeah. No, I think that's a huge thing. And, especially this time of uncertainty, that we live in. I know my district, we just finished our first full week ish, because we had Monday off, of in-person, face-to-face, sorry, 100% of our kids. And we'd been doing remote learning before that. And before that, we were doing hybrid learning. And before that, we were remote. And, it was this constant back and forth. And we need to be able to think and pivot. And that kind of, brings me back to what I was saying with Joe Marquez earlier in a Saturday Router Day when he was talking about it, is we've got to be able to figure it out. We've got to be able to go. And if tomorrow night we get a sudden uptick in cases and they shut my school down, then we've got to be able to, pivot on our feet and, okay, here we go to remote again and just go. But we also have to be ready for all full kids at 100% of the time. And, there's too many different moving parts these days. And it's one of those things, and I think I've said it before, where if education is going to continue like this, not saying the pandemic side, but I'm saying, just the innovations that we've seen, now is the time to really make those changes, make those switches that we need to do. Because you know what? I am sorry that, paper and pencil might be the easy way, but it's 2021. It might not be the best way anymore. There is a place, don't get me wrong, but you know what? It's 2021. We're going to lose Post-its. It's, we're going to lose that notebook. But if I type it in on my phone, if I type it in on my iPad, it's going to get saved to the cloud, and I'm not going to lose that note. So we've got to be, willing to figure that stuff out, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's always going to be value in paper and pencil. I was looking at not too long ago, my mom was showing me letters from my grandma that she wrote back in, 19, I don't even remember when, letters to me, letters to her sisters, and it's kind of cool to be able to look at my grandma's handwriting. My grandma's been gone since 1980. And it's just cool to be able to see her handwriting. And I got to thinking about it. If this was something that she typed and then it got printed, sure, the words are going to be there and that sentiment's still going to be there, but there's something about being able to see that she personally put that on a piece of paper. So,
yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. And it's a whole different concept, I think. And we're kind of seeing that same idea today is, when I look on my Facebook and, the memory feed comes up, 11 years ago today, this happened, 10 years, that kind of stuff. And they're fun to look back and see. And it's kind of the same, but I hear completely what you're saying about, just seeing that physical piece of paper. We look back to July 4th, in 1776, when we had the Declaration of Independence. We have the physical paper. and be able to go back and look and see that, and just hope that Nicolas Cage doesn't steal it again. Um,
Yep.
that's a great movie. I love that movie. But we have those things that are tangible, and one day that paper, it's gonna disintegrate. It's gonna be gone, but we still have the digital recreations of it. So I think there could be a good balance between the two, kind of a hybrid of the two, if we were to use our current lingo.
Yeah, I think there is, and there's something still to be said for being able to write on a piece of paper and what that does for someone's thinking too. I've heard the arguments for keeping cursive around, because not just because of signatures and things like that, but because what it does for us as learners and as humans, to be able to take our thoughts and to put them down on a piece of paper, and to, whether you're cursive or you're hybrid cursive, which is what most people do today.
Yeah.
So
That's what I do. And I wonder, I'm sure there's studies out there that, because I know in my school, we are very much paperless as much as possible, just because we have the iPad and we have an iPad pens, the Apple Pencil or Logitech crayons, where they can just write on the iPad. And the only thing it cannot mimic is the feel of paper. And there are products out there kind of like Paper-like that you could get, and to kind of mimic that feel, but I know it's a different feel. So I'd be curious to see if you took classroom A and they were just pure 100% paper pencil, classroom B was 100% digital, and compare the two. I'd be really curious to see how that came out. If it was comparable, if one was more, as the phrase that really just drives me insane, more better than the other one. I'd be kind of curious to see how that came out.
in a grade level that is used to typing, because if you put it in a second or third grade level where they're just learning that keyboard, then the paper and pencil would probably be more successful.
Well, no, I'm saying with the pen where you can write on the screen.
Oh, using a pen writing on the screen versus just type. Okay, I see.
So the same thing, like you print out the same worksheet, and you have a physical worksheet, and then you have a digital worksheet, and the physical handwriting page and the digital page, that kind of stuff. Like, just make it as comparable as you possibly can.
How often do you think technology like that glitches and creates a problem where something, whether big or small, has to be resolved before you can continue forward?
It's a good question. I know last fall, so it was the 2019-2020 school year. My school district, we went through a cyber attack, and we couldn't use all of our iPads for about 3 to 4 or 5 weeks or so. So, yeah, we went through that completely, and we noticed that our kids were able to pick up the physical side just as well. So
Sure.
we always have the backup of paper pencil.
I'm just thinking, like, and I know I experienced this when I was teaching, I think it was third grade. And I would be in the middle of a lesson using an iPad and using the Promethean board and that sort of thing. And suddenly there would be a disconnect between the iPad and the Promethean board.
Yeah.
And now I'm not able to continue. And we were pretty involved in a lesson. And now the students are losing focus. I'm getting frustrated because it's not working the way it's supposed to. And I just wondered how often that happens with iPads, just kids having an iPad, and they're trying to get it to do what it's done 100 times, but this time it's not. And how often that actually does happen, because even something like, I don't like to use mechanical pencils because I'm constantly breaking the lead. My daughter loves mechanical pencils. I can't stand them. Give me just a regular wooden pencil, because even when your lead breaks, that's just an interruption in that
Right.
focus you're having. And if you are really focused into something and a pencil breaks, well, you just reach for a new one or go sharpen it. But if you're really focused into something and that iPad glitches, for a lot of people, they might go through their one or two go-tos that they know what to do, and then they're kind of stuck. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I think it's a good point because it happens, and the kids the same way that we would teach the kids, okay, your pencil broke, what do you do? Well, you
Mhm.
go get a new pencil, you go sharpen your pencil, you go, do this and that. I think those same things are turning into, okay, using OneNote, it froze. What do you do? Well, we swipe out. If that didn't fix it, we restart the iPad. So I think they're getting there, and you're absolutely right. The older iPads, I mean, they would take, it felt like a year to restart, and the newer ones, they're getting faster and faster. So I think the point you're making is 100% valid, that we have those issues. But however, the technology is getting quicker and more reliable, that's not really happening as much, but it is happening. And how are we going to do it? And I think that does definitely take um the teachers and the kids that have that resiliency to be able to push through. Okay, I know this happened, let's go, let's figure
Mhm.
it out, and not have that meltdown and whatnot. And I've seen some teachers where, like you were saying, where the iPad wasn't connecting to the screen. Well, okay, guys, while this reboots, let's get up and do 10 jumping jacks, or let's take a quick minute to get a water break, or whatever it's going to
Yeah,
be.
sure. And
So
there's all sorts of things beyond technology that are gonna just derail an awesome
right.
lesson. I remember having an awesome lesson. I remember it was springtime and we were just into this conversation. And then suddenly I lost like every one of them. And the reason why was because there was a huge jumping spider on the wall that they were all facing. And now I got to track this spider down and get it out of the room so we can get back going again. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things. It's going to happen. It's just how we're going to deal with it, and how we gonna teach our kids to push through and whatnot. And going back with the title here, the switch is, we're in an interesting spot in education where things are switching. We're in a crossroads, really. And it's our job as teachers, as my standpoint as a coach, yours even as PE. Things are changing, things are constantly evolving. And do we want to stay in the past? Do we want to move forward? Do we need to have a good mix between the two? Like,
Mhm.
what's best? I don't know.
It's different for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
I, I know
Yeah.
what works for me.
Right. And it's, as I sit here and think, it's, I was looking through all my memories, because we were talking about that and looking back, because on that stuff. I was looking through, and 11 years ago today, so this was in 2010, I posted morning workout, basketball for 2 hours, now time to relax for a few minutes. And I think that I'm like, that was 11 years ago that I did a morning workout and then played basketball.
Mhm.
And I think back then, I'm like, okay, when I did my workout and it was at the rec center, there's a little TV on the elliptical, and I had my headphones. And now I think about today, this morning at 4:30 when I went, I have my Apple Watch, I have my phone, and it's connected to Apple Fitness Plus, and I'm doing that for my workout. And so I'm just thinking, wow, things have changed. Like, it's, my watch is tracking my heartbeat, it's tracking my blood oxygen level, it's tracking all this stuff. But when it boils down to it, it's really the same thing. It's just a different way to look at it.
So I'm sorry, you lost me at 4:30. That's where I
Yeah.
stopped. I stopped listening at 4:30. That's where it just stuck me right there. You
Well,
mean AM, right?
AM, yes, 4:30 AM does exist.
It does?
It does.
I thought it only existed on days when I went fishing and my dad made me get up at 4:30 in the morning.
No, it actually exists every day, and
Okay.
I can tell you that for the past 23 days it has existed. Because today was day 23, tomorrow is day 24 in a row.
I have to ask, what time do you go to sleep?
Let's see, normally about 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
So I'm still getting a good about 8.5 hours. No, I can't do math. Good grief.
Oh my gosh.
6.5 hours. We were just talking about math. We got to get to the right answer, right?
All right. 6.5. Yeah, that's not bad, I guess. Yeah.
No. And I was thinking about it, and going back to, as we were talking about before, going back to my buddy Joe, he's made a huge change in his life, and I'll let him tell his story, once we can get him on. But he realized, and this was the thought that I had after hearing his rationale, is, if I can get up early, get my workout done, then I got the rest of my day for whatever I want it to be. I don't have to sit there and, I got to go to the gym or whatever. No, I'm just going to get up and go. And you know what? By the time I'm back and showered, it's 6:30 and Zane's up and we can move on with our day. We don't have to have the gym in our way.
I don't know. Wow. It's 4:30.
I can call you in the morning if you want.
Yeah. Do not do that. That's
pretty soon I'll become the blocked number.
Oh man. Yeah, you would. Yeah. I don't know if I could 4:30. Wow. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I might try and get up a little earlier. I got this lovely treadmill here that's been taking up its space for months.
And I got to that point where I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to do it. Let's go for broke.
All right. Well, maybe I'm getting called out here. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I will invite you to that Fit EDU group as soon as we're done here, so you can see the awesome things that are going on in there. But before we go, I want to, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or whatnot, you'll see this picture too. This picture was something that I edited. It's something that Jeff had told me beforehand. He's like, I can't stand these. I can't stand them. And so I'm just going to go ahead and post it.
Right.
We had some help in my school office. Bernie made his way. He came to the office to help out. He didn't look too enthused about it, but he was there and helping out, so that was good. We jumped on the Bernie train and got that meme out. So Jeff, sorry about that. Had to show it.
If I'm using this word correctly, it's becoming ubiquitous.
Yes.
Seemingly everywhere at the same time.
Yep, and that's why we wanted to jump on it and write it out. There's a few others that I've posted, but I'll spare you on showing you the other ones.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of like it reminds me of when my buddy and I were driving to the coast, and the Scorpions had just put out a new album, and one of their hits was a song called Still Lovin' You. It's just a ballad. I love the ballad. And I played that ballad 7 times in a row to the coast. And to this day, my buddy is like, I cannot listen to that song.
You ruined it.
I ruined it for him. Yep.
Oh, Jeff, what are we going to do with you?
I don't know.
What are we going to do with you? But Jeff, it is that time where we're going to say goodbye. And, as your shirt says,
right.
50 may be old, but I got to see the cool bands. If I read that correctly.
That's right. I did
There
get
we
to see
go.
the cool bands. Yep. The biggest
But-
shows ever. That's right.
But all right. Well, if you have been listening in on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, thank you. We appreciate it. Remember, you can find us. This is the Teacher Dudes podcast on any of the platforms. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of those you can find us on. Be sure to check us out, give us a share, give us a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can find me on the Twitter at Keef67. One day Jeff will join the Twitter sphere. I might have to make a fake at Jeff Anderson account and just send some things out on his behalf. But that is okay. I'll do it with his permission or not. We just won't tell him about it. So, Jeff, any parting thoughts?
I have none.
You have none. Well, all right. Well, again, this was episode 6, The Switch, and we will talk to you all later. If you'd like to join us live and interact in future shows, or to be a guest on the show, be sure to follow Tyler Keefe on Twitter at Keefe67 and like the Teacher Dudes on Facebook. If you haven't already subscribed to the Teacher Dudes, hit that subscribe button on whichever platform you're listening to, and be sure to also leave us a rating.